Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Look at this beautiful treasure I found this weekend. I absolutely fell in love with this molcajete. And even though I already have a few, I just had to have it. A molcajete is a beautiful tool to have in your kitchen. But when buying a molcajete, before you begin to use it, you must cure it. So today I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial on how to cure your molcajete. Let me remove the top. This one is made out of volcanic rock. And we don't need to cure the top because this is the part that we're mostly going to be using. So this is the one that we're going to concentrate on, as well as the tecojote. And this one, as you can see, has a pointy top and a larger bottom. So we're only going to cure the bottom because we're not going to use the top. But if yours is the same size on both sides, you might want to cure both ends, because then it's hard to tell which end is cured and which end is not. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take this over to the sink and we're going to rinse it. When rinsing the molcajete, if you don't have a liner like this in your sink, you might want to place a towel or a mat in the sink so it doesn't damage your sink. Rinse the tecojote and the molcajete for a good 1 to 2 minutes. You can also use the brush to remove any loose particles. After rinsing the molcajete, you can see there's a lot of loose particles left in the sink. This is what came out of the molcajete from just rinsing it. Now we're going to place it on a mat and allow it to dry before we continue to the next step. You can also set the molcajete outside in direct sunlight to speed up the process. To cure the molcajete, we're going to need white rice. Here I have 2 cups with about 1/4 cup of white rice in each. We're going to do the process 2 times, but if we need to, we can always do it a 3rd and a 4th time if needed. We're also going to need 1/4 cup of kosher salt and an entire head of garlic peeled. And to brush the molcajete in between each cleaning, we're going to use this escobeta, or you can also use this plastic brush. These are very accessible and you can find them in just about any grocery store. Now that the molcajete is completely dry, we're going to add the first amount of rice. Each process should take anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. This may seem like a lot of work, but it's well worth it, because you only have to do this process 1 time. And after that, you can use it as many times as you need to. If this is your first time using a molcajete, this is going to be great practice for you. You're going to notice that after a few minutes of grinding the rice, it's going to become much easier. During the process, you're going to notice that the rice is going to start to look a little grayish. That's a great indication that the loose particles of the molcajete are coming loose. There's many different ways on how to cure a molcajete. A lot of people like to use dry corn kernels. I personally like to use the rice, because you can clearly see the difference after each grinding. And that's going to be a great indication of the process. So once the rice comes out white, then you can move on to the second step. During the grinding process, you want to turn the molcajete on its side so you can get the sides of the molcajete as well. A great thing about doing this, you're also going to get your exercise for the day. The first part of the grinding process took us about 10 minutes. As you can see, the rice is a little bit gray. Now we're going to remove the rice and set it aside. Once we're done, I'm going to show you the difference between the first, second, and third grinding. I'm going to use the brush to remove any loose particles, and then we're going to repeat the process for the second time. The second one still came out a little bit dirty, so we're going to repeat the process a 3rd time. And here are the 3 residues from the 3 separate grindings. In the first one, you can see a lot of small black particles. And in the second one, there's a lot less particles. And in the third one, of course, you can hardly see any. But if you find that you're still seeing a lot of debris in the rice, repeat the process a 4th or even a 5th time. Now that we're done with the 3 portions of the rice, we're going to move on to the last step. We're going to take the molcajete back to the sink, and using the brush or the escobeta, we're going to scrub off the loose rice particles in the molcajete. And for the last step, we're going to place the molcajete back on the pad, and we're going to add in the salt and the garlic. Grind the garlic and the salt together until you have a nice pasty texture. Once you have a nice pasty texture, using the pestle, rub the garlic and the salt around the inner part of the molcajete, including the upper part. Once it's completely covered with the garlic and the salt, we're going to let it sit with the garlic for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we're going to take it over to the sink to rinse off the garlic and the salt. Once all the garlic is removed, we're going to add a little bit of dishwashing soap. Any brand will do. And using the brush, scrub the inner part and the upper edges. And don't forget to scrub the pestle. Rinse it once again and repeat the process a second and a third time if needed. I rinsed mine 2 times. Now that it's nice and clean, we're going to set it on the pad to dry. And to speed up the process, you can also set it outside in direct sunlight for about 10 to 15 minutes to speed up the drying process. Once you're done, you're going to see a lot of these white spots on the molcajete. Those are just pieces of rice that got jammed into the larger holes of the molcajete, which is great because it's going to keep food particles from getting stuck in the larger holes of the molcajete. Your molcajete is now ready to prepare salsas, grind spices, or any other uses of your choice. As you can see, it's a little bit different in color from when we started. It's a little bit darker and it feels a lot more smoother in the inside. It's a lot of work to cure the molcajete, but you only have to do it once. And once you're done, you can use it as many times as you like. My great-grandma, grandma, and my mom have been using molcajetes for as long as I can remember. When preparing salsas in the molcajete, they come out tasting so delicious. These are a great little investment for your kitchen. If you don't have one, I highly recommend you get one. You can find them at any Mexican grocery store or at your local swap meet, which is where we found this one. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, leave me a little heart. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.